there was that. All right, we are live. Let's go ahead and share this puppy to all the ships at sea.
That's what Jeff Toobin said.
I hope he gets work. I hope. I don't want to see the guy banned forever. Just
apparently, hang on. Apparently, he has not been fired by CNN.
Really?
And
to all the ships at sea. Do you think that's because they feel he's a lawyer and he would have a case against wrongful termination?
I don't think they're worried.
I don't think so either.
They've been sued by bigger and better than him.
So why haven't they terminated him then? Because it seems like jacking off in front of a bunch of people would be pretty easy to defend from an HR point of view.
Oh, it didn't hurt Pee Wee Herman.
Have you seen all these apps now where they just want you to do your own HR? They want you to do that like when you're in the office. Oh, this is my vacation days. This is my days off. This is my. They want to just outsource HR to an app. So he could do that. He could meet with the HR folks on the app going, yeah, I'd like to defend myself about jacking off on a Zoom meeting. He could actually do that. I saw the Nancy Reagan thing on CNN the other night. That's the only Ronald Reagan story that I've got. I don't know if there was anything new on there.
Wait, can I just say something?
Yeah.
And I don't want you to take this personally.
I know CNN's ruining your life. Is this going to be where you make some sort of judgment about my life that you have no idea about?
Well,
yeah.
No, I think I can.
I'm ready. I think you can too. I don't think it's going to be accurate, but you're going to do it.
If you're down to watching an hour about Nancy Reagan.
It was Sunday night.
With all that's going on.
God, you're watching some stupid ass Ronald Reagan film from 70 years ago, and you're going to lecture me about watching a Nancy Reagan documentary on CNN, which was on after that thing that Jake Tapper did.
That was many months ago, and it is considered to be. It is considered to be his best performance.
Many months ago.
Yeah. Many months ago.
Nonetheless. By the way, his best performance out of so many great ones.
Well, I hate to lean on the current president, but he became president and you didn't.
Oh, just because like Donald Trump was never in anything as good as Bedtime for Bonzo.
We can't judge someone by their worst movie ever. By the way, for the first time, I'd never seen this before. I had never seen let's see, was it Tom Hanks on Taxi? Holy shit, he did a guest thing on
I don't remember Taxi. On Taxi. I remember him on Family Ties, but I don't remember on Taxi.
Oh my God, it's a great episode anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember which one it is?
I do not.
It's the one where Jim Ignatowski goes back in his life and he's
right, he's in college and then
he's a totally straight Harvard college guy.
And they make him smoke pot for the first time and then see how it all gets. Yeah, I did see that. That's their origin story. That's like a two-parter.
Yeah, no, it's and I'd never seen it before, and
yeah, okay, yeah, he was in that.
Yeah.
Because he's a totally straight-laced studying guy, and they're like, well, why don't you try this pot or whatever? And he tries it. Of course, that's the end of it.
Right. I'd say of the last 50 years of writing in sitcoms, that's second behind Joni Loves Chachi.
Well, that James L. Brooks guy, he's a pretty bright fella. He did some pretty good work.
Not as good as Joni Loves Chachi.
Well, nothing. I mean, that's not a fair standard.
Okay. All right. Do you want me to waste the first minute with something that I saw this morning? Taking the Fox bullet for you.
Oh yeah, I do want to hear this actually because I've been wondering.
Right, here we go. I'm ready. We'll start now. It is the Brad and Britt cast. It's our third episode this week as we count down. We're under 2 weeks before the election, and I often make it my job to how should we say it? Take the bullet for the team here.
Brad is you watch he watches Fox, so you don't have to.
I stopped at not Fox but Fox Business. That's one notch up. That's four notches up on my thing.
Right.
And right there on the screen is Scott Baio
Oh boy.
Okay, Scott Baio.
That's special.
And he's a Trumper. He's a total
Yeah.
in the tank, beyond anything.
Big time.
And, right. And he is lecturing the world.
Okay.
Is lecturing the world on the unfair coverage in this election, the piling on against President Trump, and the squelching of the truth about Joe Biden.
Oh, okay.
Hunter Biden.
He's
he is all in on this. He is all in. Scott Baio.
Well, I think that'll should turn the election around if people would just listen to the great Scott Baio.
Scott Baio.
I think that's gonna be it.
And it's funny. Right after that is when I saw and I think it has the potential to go down as a classic, right alongside the 1984 Ronald Reagan's Morning in America ad, voiced by the great Hal Riney, ad wizard of the 80s and 70s and 60s too. But the Joe Biden closing argument ad that debuted on the World Series on Tuesday night. And what I noticed about it, I think people probably seen this now. I have it on my Facebook page. It's being shared all over the place. Everyone's going to see it there. And what I noticed most of all was that it had at least 10, maybe 15 different quick shots of Joe Biden one-on-one with real people, comforting them.
But he didn't have a mask, Brad. He was not with a mask with some of those people. So
I could be wrong. I believe a lot of this was what they call the archival footage
doesn't matter. That this is all that they have now is they throw shit like that. It's like, where's your mask? You were so crazy. And then Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott.
Yeah, go ahead. But we call that doing a Leslie Stahl now.
Correct. Sam Elliott is the guy who's narrating, and he doesn't. I mean, he's a guy who has been. I don't know. He's been apolitical pretty much his entire career. Am I right? I don't think he's really dabbled that much in politics, but he obviously felt strongly about the country careening completely out of control and lent his voice to this amazing ad.
And I find the timing, and if Joe Biden does win this election, this will go into the textbooks on how to run a presidential campaign, because they've been very deliberate.
Yeah.
They surely have had this commercial ready to go, and we're waiting for the right moment to release it. So right after a couple of days of the most hysterical Donald Trump that we've seen, and by the way, a psychiatrist that I know, who I will not name.
It's one that you sleep with every night, I think.
Britt, go with it. Go with it. Don't step on the comedy.
I don't mean to pry into your sex life for the past 30 years. But go ahead.
There was a song written about it called "The 12th of Never."
Yes, a psychiatrist that who will remain completely nameless.
She believes that it's quite possible that you're now really seeing the very end of Trump's being weaned off of his steroid regimen.
So that would cause a lot of mania.
Even more. And of course, we always say when we say this, how can you tell the difference? I know that's obvious. But we're giving a little pharmaceutical space for Donald to crawl around it. Very little, not much. How about none?
No, he started out at an amazing manic point, and then the steroids took him to another level, and now the weaning off of them.
Right.
Which is it amazes me that he's smart enough to continue with the entire regimen. He didn't just quit the minute they said, hey, I feel better. I'm going to stop doing this.
Well, we don't know, but I don't know whether you noticed, and I didn't look last night or the day before, but up until very, very recently, he's always had a Band-Aid on his hand, which to me indicated that he might have still been getting something.
Sounds like it.
Because he's so vain that he doesn't want to be seen at all looking weak. And, when you're wearing a Band-Aid out on your hands, it indicates
something
that something just happened.
Right.
Something is happening. When you go to the Red Cross and give blood, they put a Band-Aid on you, but it's on your upper arm, so nobody sees it, but it is there.
Right.
If they took it out of your hand, it would be on your hand. So these are just little notes.
I can just speak as to what happened to me when I was a much fatter person. It was more difficult to get a vein, to get an IV started on me in my forearm or anywhere else, and sometimes you would have to go to the hand or the wrist or something like that. So I don't know if it's difficult for them to get a vein on him, and that's where they had to do it. That's just a theory that I have,
he's fat, but not
not like I was. How dare you? How dare you? There's 25% less of me than there used to be, you jerk.
See, but that's the Ronald Reagan line. Where's the rest of me?
I'm glad the rest of me's gone. If that's the case. So the ad was very good, and now he's freaking out about this Leslie Stahl thing, which is that they've done this close to the election. They're going to do a big piece on Joe Biden, a big piece on Donald Trump. And he feels like it was completely unfair. Now they've got their own footage, and we're going to show what a big fat phony Leslie Stahl is. That was what he was freaking out about yesterday.
So remember, everything you just said is bullshit.
It is.
Everything is bullshit.
Correct.
There is nothing there. It's rather clear where Trump is right now. He cannot take being asked questions about things for which he has no real answer, and he particularly can't stand it when he isn't in a position to steamroll and yell at the moderator or answer a question that wasn't asked, which when you're sitting down with Leslie Stahl and she asks you a direct question, you got to come up with the goods. Yeah. And so she went into to every area of current inquiry, including about the coronavirus and Dr. Fauci, and accepting the results of all the things that need to be asked. And she's only been in journalism for about 55 years. Okay. So kind of she knows what she's doing. And Trump released as his little nugget, his little tease. Oh, there's more where that came from. When's it going to come out? 2 weeks from now. No. he releases a 5-second clip of Leslie Stahl standing after the segment has stopped recording with no mask on, talking to a couple of other people. And he's trying to make the case that she's a hypocrite, and everyone who talks about masks and maskless rallies and spreading the disease, and that he is a super spreader flying around, they're the hypocrites. Because look, Leslie Stahl, in a situation where she had been tested and had worn a mask all the way up until the moment that they did the interview, and she took it off. And then right after the interview, when she was talking to a few other people, there were still cameras rolling at her. And so she hadn't put her mask back. And that is proof. He is actually so delusional that he thinks that he can balance this all. He can play the whataboutism game, that he can show that liberal lefty commie chicks like Leslie Stahl. Oh, did I throw in the fact that Donald Trump can't stand tough questioning, particularly by a woman, particularly by a good-looking woman who he never could have had in his day, because she would have been too smart to go with him. She dated Bob Woodward, not Donald Trump, in her 30s. Okay?
Well, I'm surprised that's not going to come up in some tweet, since he's going into Bob Hope land and he's bringing up the past. I bet he's going to go into how Bob Woodward. He's going to do some.
Bob Woodward gave her all the questions because she's not smart enough to come up with them on her own.
Back in the day, Bob Woodward stooped Leslie Stahl.
This is what you are down to. You are down to nothing. There's nothing left in the playbook. You are running an 11th hour grievance bitching campaign over nothing. You're running against the media. You're running against Anthony Fauci. You're running against yourself. You're running against a virus. You're running and you're on the wrong side of every one of these issues right now. And you're on the wrong side of being able to motivate who we all believe are the small group of voters who may still be undecided, and we know they're out there, God. But it does not look like numerically there are enough of them to make a difference. Now, I say that with what I've noticed the last day or so. And when I say I noticed the last day or so, that doesn't mean this hasn't been around for many days. It's just, we all see things at a different rate. But boy, the Trump is going to win this election predictors who had it right in 2016, they are coming out again and saying it is going to happen again. We can see it. The shy Trump voters who've been lying to the pollsters and the people out in the weeds who are quiet, they are going to come on election day and turn this all around. And I think they are not right this time. It is not 2016.
No.
There are not enough people who didn't vote, who will vote this time, who will be motivated by what they are seeing, no matter what Donald Trump thinks. There are too many people who have been hurt too badly by his actual policies, not the prospect of the greatness that he dangled in front of people who could be conned. The, how should we say, the Trump University
valedictorian,
Metaphysical Alumni Association.
Metaphysical.
Yes, all of those people who fell for it. All the apprentice watchers of the previous 15 years. All the he's a great businessman people. All the he's not a politician people. All the he tells it like it is people. All the he speaks on behalf of me people. All the blue collar billionaire bullshit people. God. There aren't enough of them left, I don't think, in the weeds. And Trump is underperforming. You know who Dave Wasserman is?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Wasserman, and he's talked about this the last couple of days, and I've just read a piece from him. And, he gets access to congressional level, granular voting information.
Right.
That we don't get to see. The
real wonky stuff.
Real wonky stuff. And it's not really that wonky, though, when you hear it. It's Trump is underperforming anywhere from 6 to 10 points in all of these key congressional districts and areas. They pick out the top 50 places that are always bellwethers. Whichever way this district goes, the country has voted, 25 out of the last 26 elections. And places that Trump won by 3 or 4 points, he's down by 6 or 7. Places that Trump lost by 3 points, he's now down by 13. There's a zillion of those places, and there just aren't enough rural areas where, the population is mostly cows and stalks of corn for there to be able to make that up, particularly even in states like Georgia and North Carolina. He doesn't think it's possible. Doesn't think anything's possible, I know, but not likely.
This is what he says in the interview with Greg Sargent from the Washington Post. You can measure how far or behind 2016 margins Trump is running. In 2016, district level polling in late October showed flashing red warning signs for Clinton in districts dominated by white non-college voters. It wasn't being detected in state level polling because the state level polling chronically undersampled those areas. And what's it showing now? In my 13 years of covering House races, Mr. Wasserman says, this is probably the most consistent cycle I've seen. Trump is underperforming 2016 margins by 8 to 10 points in most competitive districts. If Trump won a district by 3 last time, he's probably losing it by 6 this time. It's a pretty consistent pattern.
God, I wish I would have thought to say that.
Well, yes, but I wanted to actually get the direct quote.
No. But no. The shocking part is I actually remembered it correctly.
You got most of it right.
I actually got the numbers right, which you know me. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm an esoteric poet.
You're more of a feeler than a thinker. There's exceptions. The first is in districts that are heavy on upscale suburbs. Trump is underperforming his 2016 margins by even more, by over 10 points.
Wait, the exceptions are worse?
Yeah. Okay. Examples include Indiana's 5th district, that's in the Indianapolis suburbs, Missouri's 2nd, that's in the St. Louis suburbs, and Arizona's 6th in the Phoenix suburbs. So we've been saying all of that. The suburbs that are going to count, like Columbus, Ohio, and Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, if he's doing badly in those suburbs and underperforming what he was in 2016, he's got to be doing badly in places like Detroit as well, which are going to be bellwethers.
I think you can extrapolate what he said about the places that he named to all over the country. Because remember, Donald Trump was more than willing to nationalize this election a long time ago. He's more than willing to tie every Republican running for the U.S. Senate in particular, and even people at the House level, to him, so that if he does well, they do well. And when he goes down like a clown, the margin in the House could go from, what is it, like 42 or 44? Right. It could go to 60. It could go to 70. If this is a washout, and you're just talking about some individual districts where Trump may have squeaked out a victory, and if a bunch of congressional districts flip from red to blue, you can bet that who's ever running for U.S. Senate in those states is dead meat. What's her name out in Arizona, McSally? Just call Mayflower right now. Just call it right now. It's over.
I hope so.
See, that one is over. And, of course, she had no business being in the Senate in the first place, right? She actually lost a real election. And then right after she lost it, Donald Trump rewarded her with appointment to John McCain's open seat.
That's correct.
The senator, Trump doesn't like senators who die.
Yeah.
Right. So that one's gone. What's his name in Colorado? Cory Gardner. He's gone. I think Susan Collins in Maine, she's gone. Right. Joni Ernst in Iowa, she's gone. That's 4. Then you have
Tom Tillis.
You have Tom Tillis in trouble. And you have the 2 Georgia races.
That's right. That's a big one.
Who knows how they're going to go?
That's right.
The only one that goes in reverse possibly is Doug Jones in Alabama.
But Lindsey Graham's in trouble too.
Lindsey Graham. So if the stars were to line up right, and all these things were to happen, you're not just going to see a 51 to 49. You might see a 54 to 46 kind of Democratic Senate. But this is all fantasy stuff right now.
Sure, but it looks like it's all coming true. And like you said, a lot of votes are going to be cast well before Election Day. Possibly half of people are going to have voted by the time Election Day rolls around.
I think you're even low on that.
Maybe 60%?
I think so.
It's going to be. I think it's more and more we're seeing. He's saying though that they're seeing an exception with the heavily Hispanic districts, and Donald Trump is getting better support. He's getting close to or exceeding his 2016 performance. In South Florida, Trump is clearly doing better, but he's also doing better in South Texas and California Central Valley. Well, California Central Valley doesn't matter. Joe Biden's going to win California right now. Joe Biden could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and he could win California. So it doesn't really matter there.
But you have to say, all right, the groups that are labeled as Hispanic, they may be for Trump for various reasons around the country. And we really don't want to discuss those right here because we don't want to be labeled.
But we're on a podcast.
I don't care. I still don't want to do it. Whatever reasons they have for, how should we say it, falling for the con, so be it. But I do not think that those numbers will shift enough or be enough of a difference to counteract what we just talked about, that Mr. Wasserman talked about, with the gender gap deficit that is why every day that schools can't open, every day that more women than men are losing their jobs and businesses in this economy because of your mismanagement, every day that you try to avoid talking about the coronavirus at those beer putsch Nuremberg Nazi rallies that you're holding around the country that are endangering people, while none of us can have a wedding, none of us can have a bar mitzvah, none of us can even have thanks fucking giving, while you're inviting people out there, dumbass, mostly white morons, to show their fealty to you like a fucking dictator, which is what you want to be, to keep yourself out of prison for 4 more years. I don't think it's going to work. And yes, you may pick up some Hispanic votes in the El Paso market.
Right.
Good luck. Enjoy that. There's a little problem though. A bunch of Hispanics got murdered at a Walmart in El Paso.
It's true.
And that's not helpful. And apparently Senator John Cornyn is kind of running for the hills and trying to have his feet in both camps.
It's odd, isn't it? He's kind of distancing himself from his hero. It's odd.
Right. Not by much.
Just this much.
And I'm we haven't had the declaration, the threat declaration yet by Trump, but it's coming. It might come today. It might come in the debate. Who knows when he's going to do it? It might come at a rally where he threatens anyone who dares not support him in the Republican Party. Is I will spend the rest of my living days trying to ruin your fucking life, you asshole, for not saluting Donald J. Trump. He's going to do it.
Well, what can he do?
He's going to do it, right?
What can he do once he's out of office?
It doesn't matter.
And plus, he's going to jail.
Do anything.
He's going to jail too.
Matter.
He's going to be in jail. You can't do much from behind the bars. I mean, he's not Al Capone. Right. He's not like a gang leader. He's not like the leader of the Crips where he can reach out from behind the bars and get you. There's nothing he's going to. The emperor truly has no clothes, and he does have a Chinese bank account too.
Please don't do the emperor has no clothes and Trump in the same sentence.
Hey, you're going to have some. There's going to be some stark realities you're going to have to deal with on this one, pal, and that's one of them. My prediction for the election, and I don't like to make any of them, is I think you look at Georgia, you look at Texas, Arizona. He's going to lose one of those states, and he might lose two of them. And if he loses one, Joe Biden's going to win. And if he loses two, it's going to be a landslide, I think. That's going to be a real bellwether of what's going on.
Right. And it looks like they've thrown in the towel on Michigan and Wisconsin, and they're putting all the effort into Pennsylvania.
Oh, now the financing of the campaign is coming into question for Donald Trump. I think I saw the numbers. They only had $60 million on hand, and they were like $1 million in debt. And you saw those last quarterly numbers for Biden, where they've got $400 million on hand, at least of last count, going into the final days of this election. And Donald Trump has only donated. Drudge is saying $8,000 to his own campaign, I believe is what the number is.
What?
Yeah, that's what Drudge is highlighting on the Drudge Report. I was just taking a look. By the way, if you didn't know it was the Drudge Report and it was supposed to be like the thing that drives conservative news over the past 25 years or so, you would think you're looking at the Huffington Post or possibly the MSNBC.
Well, but he checked out a couple of months ago. I find
this is the story from Mediaite. Trump reportedly donated just $8,000 to his own campaign as Biden holds a massive cash advantage. That is the story that he is pointing to. Matt Drudge. Well, it's a Mediaite story.
I would hope that they spend that just not buying TV commercials, because frankly, they have diminishing effectiveness. I think
traditional media means less and less.
It just means less and less. And so
it's all about social media.
Right. And if Trump does win this somehow, it will be because we were all saying Joe Biden had this huge money advantage and they were smarter. And that's what the story is going to be. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying that's what the story will be.
I saw Stuart Stevens tweeting, and they were highlighting that Sam Elliott ad that you were talking about. And Stuart Stevens says he sees so much. And Stuart Stevens is the guy that ran the Romney campaign back in 2012, all this stuff. And of course, he was in television before that. He says he sees so much hand-wringing among liberals that Joe Biden's not running a good campaign. He goes, relax. Joe Biden's message discipline has been perfect. They've run a really good campaign. It's not that at all. Everybody just needs to chill out. The message is getting out there. They've targeted the right places, and he's done exactly the right thing. The message discipline from this candidate has been amazing, particularly during the convention. They stayed right on point, exactly as they should. They've not taken the bait during the debates. And they've spoken directly to the American people. So everybody just needs to chill out. He's run a very good campaign. Hillary Clinton did not run a very good campaign in any number of ways that you could name, including not doing anything in Wisconsin. So everybody just needs to relax. I know that the ghosts of 2016 loom large, but it doesn't seem like we're going to have another year like that.
It doesn't feel like it right now, but until to be the man, you got to beat the man. Kind of stuff.
That's the deal.
Right. Who said that first?
Ric Flair.
First?
Ric Flair. He gets credited with it. I'm not sure if he said it first, but he did popularize it. That's for sure.
Okay. You know, they look like they're doing all the right things. And if we're lucky, Donald Trump will officially seal his own fate at the debate. I believe it's in Miami.
I think that's right.
On Thursday night. And will amp up the craziness to another level. And somebody noted, a person smarter than us, noted that when the microphones are cut, when the other person is making their 2-minute speech, and by the way, Frank Fahrenkopf, the head of the debate commission, wanted everyone to know that these rules about allowing each candidate to have 2 minutes of unobstructed speech at the beginning of each category were agreed to by the candidates long ago. So just because Donald Trump has made it so that the mics have to be cut off, that does not mean that the rules have been changed at all. So STFU Trump on this for whining.
Yep.
But that even though Trump's mic will be cut off, if he's, still 12 feet away, whatever he is from Biden, he can still talk to him and interrupt him and yell at him, and he'll hear it, and we'll hear it faintly in the background.
Wow.
So my guess is that Trump is so desperate and so classless and so beyond redemption that he may do that. Because remember, the goal in that first debate, as coached by Chris Christie to his pupil, Donald Trump, was to do the interrupting, because they thought that they could get Joe Biden, who's a stutterer, to completely melt down if you kept interrupting him. Because when you interrupt the stutterer, and
didn't work. Didn't work at all.
So if anything, Trump may be worse with the mics off. It's very possible.
It'll be interesting to see.
Unless you think that suddenly he's going to go by the rules that
forget it.
Have been
refashioned.
Right.
He's too desperate. He's too crazy. As you say, he's coming off the steroids. No, there's no way. He's going to be pull out all the stops. He's going to try to everything. It's going to be Hunter Biden. It's going to be Obama should be in jail. It's going to be you talk about playing the hits. He's going to be playing the hits. You know how you do when you see one of your favorite bands and they're in one of the casino shows. The casino shows are 90 minutes, so you really have to saw down on the hits. That's what he's going to be doing. That's going to be all this shit about crooked Hillary and her emails, and they should be in jail. And if I get 4 more years, I will lock Hillary up. And I'm going to lock Joe up. I'm going to lock everybody up. Everybody's going to be locked up.
Bring up Hillary Clinton. Please bring her up.
He can't. He can't stop. He just stand. Oh, by the way, this you've seen this story. The parents of 545 migrant children separated at the border by the Trump administration still have not been found. Well, you can easily see why Hispanic support is going up for Donald Trump, can't you? Huh?
Again, I don't want to go there.
No, I don't want to go there.
Don't want to go there.
Those kids that were locked up, a lot of them were of, right. A lot of those were of Hispanic origin, right?
Yes. At best, it's kind of counterintuitive that anyone of Hispanic origin would support Donald Trump, and I'll just leave it right there.
It's counterintuitive. You may be voting against your own interests if you're Hispanic and you're voting against Donald John Trump. The president has a Chinese bank account, according to a New York Times report. That account is being controlled by Trump International Hotels Management and paid local taxes between 2013 and 2015. Of course, the famous story about him paying $750 in federal taxes in 2016 and 2017, whereas that bank account that we just found out about has paid out $188,000 in local taxes. Brad, it is a secret Chinese bank account. Do you
First of all, who doesn't have a Chinese? I have a Chinese. You have a Chinese.
We all do.
A Chinese bank.
Of course we do.
How do you think you pay for a meal at a Chinese restaurant?
That's with the Chinese bank account.
Bank account
Because they don't take Cash App or any of that stuff. They just take.
I think it's delightfully timed that this story comes out just as Donald Trump thinks that his ace in the deck to pull out is Joe Biden and Hunter Biden's relationships with China and with Russia and the rest. When the fact is that Donald Trump, or as I like to call them, and I thought of this, the Trump crime family, no one's ever said that before, is really the issue. So my guess is, and we just mentioned this, that the reason Joe Biden is spending a couple of days getting ready for what's going to happen on Thursday night is because they're going to throw at him all of the kinds of taunts that we know and love Donald Trump for about this subject. And Joe Biden will have ready in his arsenal some pithy comebacks pointing out the hypocrisy of it all. And you can always, if you can't think of anything, you say, where are your taxes, Donald? Let's see your taxes. You can always go to that. If you can't think of anything to say, you can always bring that up and then make him lie again and say, oh, they're under audit. After the election, I'll bring them out. Wait, you said that you said that 4 years ago after the election to bring it. Oh, I didn't mean that. I meant after I got reelected. No, you didn't mean that. So I think that this will not make a big difference. I think that Trump is going to overplay his hand.
But it is crooked as hell. It's like the thing he was accusing Hillary Clinton of being crooked. It's beyond. I mean, it's beyond the pale, right?
Well, you know, I threw up on my Facebook a couple of hours ago the famous clip of Trump on Letterman in 2013, where Letterman pulls from behind his desk a shirt,
right,
from that Trump was selling.
The Trump collection, yeah,
Trump collection. And then he pulls out a tie,
yeah, and
he says, where are these ties made? And he looks at it, he goes, oh, China. And Trump has the biggest shit-eating grin of embarrassment,
right?
Because he'd just gotten done just whacking the Chinese. They take us, they rip us off, blah, 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 blah. So the fact is that David Letterman, who of course took down Nixon with his reporting back in the 70s, in a way foreshadowed for everyone what you were going to see regarding Donald Trump and his actual financial relationship to China, which he would then turn around and demagogue as a candidate for president, but still continue to do business there, still continue to grease the skids so that Ivanka could get all these patents on crap that she was selling, which, by the way, I think her entire line of everything is gone.
Oh, you can't get it at Nordstrom's anymore, and now you can't get it anywhere?
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Oh, come on.
Because I know this is going to be a big shock to our retail fans out there. The Trump name is not a golden moniker that you want on your goods these days. It doesn't sell big. So
how does she rebrand when it's all over and relaunch herself as someone who was victimized by her father? Is that what you do?
I'm not answering it. I'm not going there because
you can't on the second.
I don't care.
You can on the you can on the secondary market get some of her clothing on eBay. They do have a metallic lace sheath dress, size 14.
So this is resale.
This is resale. It's on the eBay. On the eBay,
this is consignment. Yeah.
If you have to have a piece of Ivanka's clothing, they've got a striped, flowy, off-the-shoulder top as well that's available. So several different pieces of clothing on the secondary market. If you really, again, if you want to be a complete dick and you are having a Thanksgiving super spreader event and you want to wear your Ivanka Trump clothing to show your relatives just how awesome that you are and you support the president, you would be able to go to eBay and go ahead and order that now. I think that would be your choice.
I would wait till after the election because the price could drop.
You think there would be a precipitous drop in that? Yeah. I'm looking at the Fox News homepage. Now they are covering, I think, some sort of. He's going to be in North Carolina today. It looks like
he's in Gastonia.
In Gastonia.
Yeah.
For those who are outside the state of North Carolina, Gastonia is one of the most deplorable cities, if I may use that term, in all of North Carolina. It's going to be one of the really, really awful ones. So it's good that he's having a rally there.
It's a little west of Charlotte.
It's a bit of a state punchline. particularly in the Charlotte area. If you end up in Gastonia, you've done something horribly wrong with your life. So, yeah, it's good to see that the president is making an appearance there. The top story on the FoxNews.com website, blue state governors question safety of COVID shots approved by Trump administrations will conduct a review. So they've got Cuomo and they've got Gavin Newsom up there. And the Leslie Stahl story with Donald Trump comes in just below the fold. He didn't walk out is what the headline of the story is. The White House denying Trump halted the 60 Minutes interview and rips Leslie Stahl. We alluded to this earlier, and you said, what was it, a 5-second clip now that the White House has released to bolster their view of this thing?
Right, on Twitter. And remember, contractually, they're not supposed to put anything out there. CBS has the rights to the interview
right
until it is shown, and then it becomes, public domain kind of stuff. But for a guy who, plays everyone's music, who doesn't want it played at his rallies, we're not going to let anything like a contract or the law or what's right get in the way of trying to make some kind of weak, pathetic point. So so Fox is trying to spin the story on behalf of Trump very simply. We know that, and
it doesn't even really look like Fox is into it these days. It seems like they didn't run the Hunter Biden stuff, right? Even it was too specious for them to run.
Well, wait.
Right.
Understand what they did, and understand the original reporting of this.
And this is the genius of Fox right here.
The original reporting was this story was even too questionable. They couldn't prove it. They couldn't verify it for Fox to run. So Giuliani runs over and gets it in the New York Post, where their motto is, there's nothing too full of shit to run. There's nothing that lies about Joe Biden enough that we won't run it. So we'll just run it.
It's all the shit that isn't fit to print. That's what they call it in the New York Post.
And then Fox News, which couldn't run it because they couldn't prove it, now gets to run the story that's in the New York Post about the thing that they couldn't verify and just repeat it over and over again. So the answer is bullshit. They're running it. They're going all in with it now. They had about 1 minute where they said, let's pass it off. Let's let the New York Post take the hit for the original publishing of the bullshit. And then we will report on the publishing of the bullshit, and then ask every Republican who comes on TV, well, what about the bullshit? It's not bullshit, is it? No, it's not. And so it's out there. So be it. And so they Fox News gets zero credit for not being the first one to run it.
Well, I'm also thinking that on the opinion shows, didn't they just go ahead and start talking about it anyway? Didn't Hannity and Laura and those guys they start talking about it despite the fact that
absolutely. And so I said this 100 years ago. This complete fiction. The opinion shows on Fox between 8 and 11, those are commentary. Those aren't news people. Those are opinion jockeys. But the rest of the day, it's a hell of a quality news operation that really looks at both sides of every issue and is as sound journalistically as any of the other organizations you can name. They play it straight. They've got a lot of good journalists there at Fox, but at night it's a different animal. We admit that, but doggone it, we're really good during the day. That was a lie then. Well, it's a lie now.
Plus, the audience for the opinion shows is way higher than the shit during the daytime anyway. I mean, that's just a fact. So it's ridiculous. You're seeing these reports about Rudolph Giuliani in the new Borat movie, which is going to be on Amazon on Friday.
No, is he in it?
Apparently, he gets extremely comfortable with a woman who is an actress who's 24 years old, posing as a journalist. According to several early reviews for Borat's subsequent movie film, which is out this Friday on Amazon, Giuliani was duped into the hotel room of an actress playing Borat's daughter. Soon after their segment, The Interviewer, Borat's daughter in the film, played by 24-year-old actress Maria Bakalova, brings Giuliani into the hotel bedroom. The pair flirt between sharp edits. He lies down on the bed and runs his hand down his pants on camera. Borat, played by comedian Sacha Baron Cohen, then reportedly storms in screaming, "She's 15. She's too old for you." Sacha Baron Cohen, who I've never been a huge fan of, looks like he's in a tremendous role. He plays Abby Hoffman in The Trial of the Chicago 7 on Netflix, which I can't recommend enough because it does have some good.
How are they going to defend? How are they going to defend this? How are they going to get out of this one? Because remember what this is. What he does.
Yeah.
Is what's the name of that the Veritas guy,
that idiot guy, the stupid ass guy, the Project Veritas. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. James O'Keefe.
Sacha Baron Cohen is Beethoven, okay?
Yeah,
and O'Keefe
is a guy on a kazoo.
Is a guy, right? A guy drunk in the corner playing a kazoo at a bar.
That's true.
And Sacha Baron Cohen is so good. He's so fastidious, and he always has the story straight. And there's really no way you can wiggle out of it. Whereas, it's not comparable. But they will try to turn it into, that he's the bad guy and you can't trust him and blah blah blah.
Well, Michael Cohen had that thing last week saying it's okay, that the Russians are able to compromise Rudolph Giuliani so easily because he's drunk most of the time. And you didn't hear any pushback. No, don't say that. That's not true. Then there's no I will sue you for. There's been no pushback on that. It appears that's what Rudolph Giuliani is essentially drunk most of the time, right? That's what it looks like.
Well, it doesn't even have to be most of the time. How about just a lot of the time?
A lot of the time. That's what it looks like.
Enough of the time.
Yeah, just when he's awake. I think when he's asleep, he's really not drunk at all.
Right. Oh, well, that was fun.
That was a good time. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay.